We got 30 minutes on the clock. We have yet to get Gen 5 all the way through. Part of me is like, maybe I start with Gen 5 and then we go back up. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with Agino, the Mega. We're going to do all of the little guys at the beginning. Victini, Patrat Wachog, Luna Musharna, Blitzel Zebstrika, Lipard Purloin, Deerling Sawsbuck. Okay, Volcarona, Larvesta, Durant Heatmore, Terrakian Coboyan, Virizion, Tornadus, Thunderous, Landorus. Gonna go ahead and do Zekrom, Kiron, Keldeo, intersect Meloetta. Okay. We got Haxorus, Axu, and Fracture. We got Sandile, Krokorok, and Crocodile. We got Dino, Zuelis, and Hydreigon. We got Druddigon. Alright, we got Vanillish, Vanillux, Vanillite. We got Sigilyph. Yeah, I'm asking Fagragus, Solosis, and Duosion. Reuniclus. We got Sock and Throw. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out Lillipup. Stoutland and Herdier. Pansage, Simisage, Panpour, Simipour, Pansear, Simisear, Corsola, Dweeble, Scrafty, Scraggy, Emolga, Cinccino, Minccino, Mindfu, Mindsha. We're okay. I'm losing the plot. Manitan. This is who I was trying to get. Darumaka after the monkeys over here. Let's go and do Swanna, Ducklet, Rufflet, Braviary. I'm going to go ahead and do Basculin, Zora Arc, Stunfisk, Aloe, Momoa. Alright, then we got Vullaby, Mandibuzz. We got Golett, Golurk. And then right next to him is Pawniard, Bisharp, and Buffarods. Let's go. Let's go. Roggenrola, Boldor, and Gigalith. Tranquil, Pidove, and Unpheasant. Gothita, Gotharita, Gothitelle. Alright, we've got Swaddle, Swadloon, Leaveney, Cottony, Whimsicott, Petalil, Lilligant, Whirlipede, Venipede, and Scolipede. Bro, I knew I could get closer. This is pretty good. This is all in 5 minutes. We've got Drillbur, Excadrill, Carablast, Escavalier, Shelmet, Excelgor, Woobat, Swoobat, Conkeldurr, Girder, Timber, Lampet, Chandelure. There's so many. Litwick. Okay, there's still a good bit left. We've got I got all the big three like pseudo legendaries. I don't know if they are pseudo legendaries or not. They basically are Cubchoo, Beartic, Cryogonal. We've got to move on in a bit, but I wanted to get as many of Gen 5 as possible. Who is next to Conkeldurr and Sock and Throw? Pangoro is Gen 6. All right, that's a pretty good start. We still got more that we need, but let's go ahead and jump over to Gen 1 and 2. Let's get these knocked out. So for Gen 1, my goal at the very beginning is to just get through the entire first row. So you got the starters, you got the bugs, you got the birds, you got Rattata, you got Raticate, obviously. Ekans and Arbok, he's going to give me Meowth, Persian, Wheezing, Coughing usually, because I'm thinking Team Rocket, specifically the anime. And then sometimes I like to throw out like a Diglett Doug trio, and then that brings me into Doduo Dodrio. I like to, because they're just similar names. I like to get those done early on, since sometimes I just forget about them. You got things like Sandshrew and Sandslash are going to be at the very end. I just remembered a Clink, Clang, Clink, Clang. Oh shit, yo, check this shit out. Hold on. We got Tynamo, Electrike, and Electros. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw out Manectric and Electrike right quick, just so I don't forget them. And then you've got Palpitoad, Timepole, and Seismitoad. Let's go. That's awesome. Continuing Gen 1, we start getting things that have like different forms, like in Galarian or Alolan. So you got your Muck Grimer, Execute, Executor, Marowak, Cubone, Slowpoke, Slowbro. I'm putting in Psyduck and Golduck because I forget them a lot of times. And now we're starting to get like some water guys, as well as some Gen 1 to Gen 2 evolutions. Now there are 11 single Gen 1 to Gen 2 evolutions. So you got Slowking, you got Kingdra in there. I'm getting a lot of water in Gen 1, so I'm going ahead and throwing out some water in Gen 2. Sometimes I do a little cross-pollination, not always. Then I get like Azumarill and Marill, since those are water. I also need to get Azurill, which is a baby in Gen 3. That reminds me of like Roserade, Badoo, and Roselia, so we're going all over the place a little bit. Then we got like the Magnemite, Magneton, Magnezone, Electabuzz. There's quite a few Gen 1 to Gen 4 evolutions, as well as some Gen 2 to Gen 4, which we'll get at some point. We're also going to go and get those babies out there for Magmar and Electabuzz, and then I just start going into EV mode. You'll notice that I do end up putting Sylveon, which is a Gen 6. That's just for the future, because we're at the point where we're doing the first 5 gens. I might as well. Porygon is going to give us Porygon 2 and Porygon Z. Then I'm like, all right, Sudowoodo, Bonsly's the baby, Mantike is the baby. Then we got Quillfish, which is like one of those Gen 8 evolutions with Overquill and Hisui. And then we got like the few Pokemon that are just like singles. So we got Shuckle and Smeargle. There's no connections anywhere else to those guys. Miltank, no other connections, unless you want to go Miltank Tauros, which I do sometimes. Then we got Psychic in Gen 1. We got some fighting guys. I forgot Sandshrew and Sandslash earlier, but now we're throwing them out there. And then we're going to go into some fire. So we got some fire in Gen 1. We're going to go ahead and do Sunkern and Sunflora because they're the only duo in Gen 2 that's got a grass. So I'd just throw them out there. And then the rest of the fire guys in Gen 2. And I should go right back into Vulpix, Ninetales up here. So we got all the fire guys. Getting some more babies. Togepi, Togetic, Togekiss. And then that's a fairy type. So we got Snubbull and Granbull. And then I remember, oh yeah, I didn't finish the fighting guys up here. So let's go and throw out the Machop line and then probably Hitmonlee, Hitmontop, Tyrogue, Hitmonchan. Just some more cross-pollination. Then we got some more like babies, some more evolutions with Munchlax and Steelix. And then we got some more singles like Lapras and Ditto. Scyther and Scizor gives us another evolution. Shelter, Cloyster, Seal, Dugong. We're going to go into like some ice types for a little bit. So you got Mamoswine, Swinub, and Pillow-Swine. We're going to go ahead and probably put in Donphan and Phanpy because it's a ground type, but they're one of the only ground type duos. And then we're going to do some Gen 3 and Gen 4 ice types with Stover, Glalie, Snorunt, Abomasnow. Go ahead and throwing out Castform and Rotom because sometimes I forget them. Castform's right next to Kecleon, so I'm like, let's go and throw him out. Phoebus and Milotic I forget a lot of times, so I put them in with the fossils in Gen 3, and then we're doing fossils. So we're getting Gen 3 fossils, we're getting Gen 5 fossils, we're getting Gen 4 fossils. You'll notice I do forget Credillia and Lileep, so that's gonna get us later on. And then when I get into like some Gen 4 land, I just start gunning for some things that I know I might forget at some point. So we're getting some of those bugs, Combi, Vespiquen, Cherum, Cherubi, and now we're back into Gen 1, Gen 4, and a little bit more cross-pollination, Swalot and Gulpin, because Why not? Grumpig and Spoink I forget a lot of times, so we're throwing that out there when we remember them. And then we're back into some Gen 1 stuff. These are like the trades. You have to like trade a Haunter or a Graveler to evolve. So we're going to throw on some of those. These guys I hate. I don't like Paris Parasect. I don't like Venonat Venomoth. I don't like Krabby and Kingler. Just out of the designs, I think they're super boring. I don't really hate them. I think they're mostly forgettable. So I went ahead and threw on a couple of those, but you'll notice I forgot about Krabby Kingler, which is a mistake here. And then we're going to go ahead and throw out all of the pink guys. So usually I do Slowpoke, Lickitung, Clefairy, Jigglypuff, and Chansey all together because they're all pink, and that's how they are in my head. And then we got Blossom, Bellsprout, Oddish. These different lines are gonna go together for me because the Oddish line and the Bellsprout line are exclusives on each of those games. So next up, we start doing some more water. You got your Remoraid, you got your Artillery. We still got Gen 1 fossils, so we're going to throw those out. At that point, we might as well go and do the legendaries. So you got Mewtwo, you got the Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos. Then we're going to do the Dragonite line. I'm going to go and do the Tyranitar line, more pseudo-legendaries. We're going to go and do Garchomp, so I don't forget about him. And then Gen 3 pseudo-legendaries, Salamence and Metagross, who I never do in the right order. I just kind of throw them out there. We got Kangaskhan, we got Tauros, we got Tangelo, which is going to give us Tangrowth. Rhydon, Rhyperior, Rhyhorn, getting that last Gen 1 to Gen 4 over here. Pinsir, because I'm seeing the spot next to Tauros. I'm like, who's that got to be? It's Pinsir, which gives us Heracross in Gen 2. Then I remember Delibird, one of those last, Stringling solos. Although he's got the Iron Bundle in Gen 9, so I usually remember that. The Poliwag line, I kind of do last sometimes, and I don't know why. But we do got Politoed in Gen 2. And then we're just going to go straight into Gen 2. I'm still missing 2 in Gen 1. I'm like, who is it? But we just got to move on. 16 minutes left on the clock. So we're going right into the Gen 2 starters. And you'll notice I'm just going to start doing Gen 2, 3, and 4 starters. Because sometimes I'll just forget one of them and be like, what is it? What is it? But instead of just sitting there trying to get it in the right order, it's better for me to just start throwing out homies left and right so that we can just get through all 9 of the lines here. So we finish up with the total outline, and then it's right into that first row. We got our normal type, Sentret, Furret, Knockdown, and Hoot. Sometimes I'll go right into Natu and Xatu because they're birds, and then we'll go into Teddy Ursaring because it's the last duo that's a normal type. Now we got the trios, which is Mareep and Hoppip, and Tyranitar is that last trio in Gen 2. There's not many trios, which is kind of weird. And then I just started doing some trios from Gen 3 because I'm in that trio mindset. Lotad, you got Slaking, and then right back into Gen 2 with the bugs, Ladybug, Spinarak, we got Pineco. But I remember Joltik, Galvantula, which is insane at this point because that's one of those Gen 5 ones that I never be getting. Crobat gives us one of our last Gen 1 to Gen 2 evolutions. We finish off with Pineco, and then we're going to go into Gen 2 to Gen 4 evolutions. There's exactly 6 solo guys evolves into Gen 4. So it's Gligar, Yanma, Misdreavus, Ambipom, Sneasel, and Murkrow. Then I remember Chimecho and Chingling, which is a Gen 3, Gen 4 baby kind of thing. And I already got Probopass, Nosepass earlier, but it's worth pointing out. Bronzor and Bronzong, because Probopass, I guess, triggered those guys. And then we'll go ahead and throw out the legendaries for Gen 2, and we're almost done. We're just missing a couple, which is a little frustrating. So I'm going right into some Gen 3 legendaries, because at this point I'm still like, well, we can still get those last 2 Gen 2s, right? Who can they be? Yeah, I'm trying to remember who. Dunsparce. I'm still missing 2. Who am I missing? Dunsparce and Girafarig have Gen 9 counterparts, so I usually try to remember those together. We didn't today. Smeargle, Shuckle, Skarmory. Who am I missing next to Voltorb and Electrode? We still got time. Whoa, there's someone missing next to Scizor. Next to Scyther. Oh no. Pinsir, Tauros, Lapras, Ditto, Mr. Mime Jr. But I do remember Mr. Mime, and then Mime Jr. gives me that Gen 4, which is nice. That would have been diabolical if I'd forgotten about him. Who am I missing? Right there. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Who am I missing? What? What? Who am I missing? And then I'm missing someone in Gen 2 as well. What is going on? What is going on? What's going on? I got Girafarig, I got Dunsparce, I got Delibird, I got Heracross, I got Pinsir. I'll have to come back because I'm wasting too much time. So we're going right into Gen 3. We got to get the bugs, obviously. You want to get those guys. I always think of like the Wurmple line, and then I'll go right into Burmy, Wormadam, and Mothim. From there, it's just like whatever we can pull out. Skitty and Delkitty will usually give me Surskit and Masquerade because Skitty and Surskit start with the same letter. And then we also already did Grumping and Spoik, who I usually remember along with Glameow Ugly and then Stunky and Skuntank, just because they're like regular animals. And we're continuing with that kind of train of thought. So you got the Shinx line with dogs, Riolo and Lucario are kind of like dogs. And then you got birds, Taluswillow, the Starly line, Wingull and Pelipper. From there, I'm thinking like water. So we get Carvanha, Sharpedo, and then I usually get Whelmer, Wellor, but this time I remember Claydol, Baltoid randomly. And then we're just kind of throwing out stuff, man. We got some fighting stuff, Makuhita, we got Hariyama, Breloom and Shroomish, I forget a lot, and then boom, Amoonguss, Fungus, shout out, that's awesome. It's really nice to get a couple of these Gen 5 in there because I'm like stressed out that I'm not gonna be able to get the last few ones. And fortunately, some of the Pokemon in Gen 1 through 4 remind me of some Gen 5 guys. So now we're in Gen 4. We're doing the Safari Zone stuff. Shout out to Aiden for helping me remember those guys. Drapion, Skorupi, I was not getting for a long time, and now that whole entire group is like easy to remember. Then we got the Love Disc, Relicanth, Gorbis, Huntel, Clamperl, like such random ass fish, but I remember them all together, so it's very helpful. And then usually I go right into Walreinsville and Celio because they're like right next to each other. Then I'm looking at Gen 4, I'm like, who am I missing in those Gen 4 evolutions? Gallade, which means we got to get the Gardevoir line. Then I remember my favorite Pokemon, Bidoof, Bibarel, that leads me into Lopunny and Baneri because they're kind of like bunny rabbit, beaver, small mammals. And then we got a lot of trios. Gen 3 has a lot of trios. So we got to get the Whismur line, we got to get the Shedinja line, we got to get the Shiftry line, and that's going to get us a bunch of those trios, which is good. And then I remember another Gen 5. Pharaoh Seed and Pharaoh Thorn. Let's go. All right, we're in the final 9 minutes. Let's go ahead and get that last Gen 4 starter. That's probably a good idea. Then we're going to start filling out some blanks in the first row of Gen 3 and 4. Mightyena, Poochyena, Zigzagoon, Lanoon. Just by looking at it, I'm like, that's who's missing. Let's go ahead and get the last of the legendaries. Latias, Manaphy, Fion. Fun fact, I did not know any of that trio of the Azelf stuff for a long time. Uxie and Mesprit was not in the head. I just remembered Azelf. Cresselia, Darkrai, Shaman, Arceus, Giratina. I'd be forgetting Giratina sometime. Heatran. And I'm still like tripped up. Who am I missing next to Frostless? But then boom, this is crazy. Krabby and Kingler. That's who I'm missing in Gen 1. And then Gen 2... Unknown. I got Unknown. That's who it was. That's cool. Gen 5 is like so close. That's insane. Holy crap. Okay, we might actually be able to get it, but let's focus on what we got over here. Because we still got a lot of Gen 3 and 4 left. So we got to finish up these last 2 gens here. Kricketot, Kricketune in that first row. One of them that I forgot a lot early on, but then you just remember that's the one in the first row you always be forgetting, and then you never forget it. Now we got a lot of the regional exclusives in Pokemon Go. This is crazy. Tropius, Torkoal, Spinda, Plusominum, Volbeat, Illumise, like are always in that area. And then I get a little off guard because I need to go back to Gen 4 and put in Pachirisu, Chatot, and Spiritomb. Again, Pokemon Go regional exclusives. Then I'm like, who am I missing in Gen 4? Obviously it's Floatzel and Weasel. Who's next to Frostlass? Himoswine? What? Alright, that's fine. Still not sure who that last one in Gen 4 is, but we are back in Gen 3. Got Trapinch, Vibrava, Flygon. That's going to give me Barboach, Whiscash. That's going to give me Corphish, Crawdot. Corphish and Trapinch are like close enough in their way that they're pronounced to where I'd be remembering them. Seviper, Lunatone, Solrock. I've missed these so many times that now I'll never miss them because I know they're right there in that spot. Cacnea, Cacturn, Maractus. That gets me Maractus in Gen 5. Another Gen 5 is awesome. And then we're kind of into Megas, which I don't be knowing all the Megas off the top of my head, but I do know that some of these guys are Megas. So we get the Aeron line, we get Banette and Shuppet, and then that's going to give me Drifloon and Drifblim. So now we're done with Gen 4 JK. We got to get Dusknoir, Duskull. Okay, cool. We got a real chance here. 5 minutes is pretty good. Volterius, Swablu, Absol, Zangoose. Manectric, Electronic. Probably some Megas. Yeah, they're both Megas. They're both Megas, which should be easier, but I don't know all the Megas off the top of my head. It's under 5 minutes now. We don't have that many left, so I'm really trying to rack my head as to like who are we missing in Gen 3. 1 and 2 is finished. There's a couple of Megas left. If you do the deduction, you got 2 Megas. They can't be from the same evolution line, so who are they? And then I'm still not sure who is next to Claydol and Baltoy. And then we've got Gen 5, man. 6 left in Gen 5 is crazy. This is easily the best Gen 5 I've had ever. I got all of the ghost guys that I can think of. No, I don't. Elegant, Behium. That's crazy. Okay. It's only 4 more of those, and then 4 in Gen 3. Who do we got then? Credilli Lilip. Let's go. And then... Is that a Mega? No, it's not. Well, I got 2 Megas left. What the fuck? Who are they both? Oh! Let's go! Sableye. Let's go. Okay, cool. That's both of the Megas. I'm like, what's left? Oh, okay. Whoa, 4 left. Gen 5, 4 left. Is crazy. I can't think of any other ghosts, and I can't think of any other birds. No more monkeys. There's no other cats or dogs or rats or anything like that, or deer or zebras. We've got kind of got those. 4 left. Who could it be? This is our best Gen 5 yet. It might not be anything I need to pull from another data point. I might need to just like pull it out of my ass. I might just need to know it. I got Joltik Galvantula this time. Frillish. Jellicent. Okay, cool. Just remember the Gen 5 video from Deep Pocket Monster. Joltik Galvantula just unlocked the Frillish Jellicent somehow. 2 more. Oh man. Trubbish and Garbodor. 5 minutes. No, who am I missing? Oh no, that's it because it's the full quiz. Let's go. Let's go. We did it. Whoa. Heck yeah, man.